Okay. Thank you. I hear we have quite a rowdy and appreciative crowd in the background, which is a real pleasure to hear. Well, I know that you were there, and Jacob, and Talia, and some others who have been with me in one way or another through the last 4 to 7 years while these events have been unfolding. And it's very satisfying to see the passage yesterday of the Marco Civil through the lower house of Brazil. And I hope that the Senate treats it seriously and passes it quickly. I think the political will is there from everything that I've seen. I know that there have been compromises that have had to have been made in order to get that legislation through. But I think it is an important step, an important symbol to lay down that a large country like Brazil, that is finding its way in the world, has said this far and no further. But if we look at the spread of NETmundial and what has happened in the geopolitical interplay, then I must agree somewhat with Jacob Applebaum. For those who have been involved behind the scenes and have watched the development, we all understand that the best thing to come out of is that public stress of will, the public's will, society's will, and some national will, different areas to try and divert the capture of the internet from the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance and, more broadly speaking, the Western developed powers. We've got to understand that is a serious attempt by the United States and its allies to keep control of the internet. It has given a concession, not a very important one, in the handing over, probably, of ICANN to the international arena. But there's a reason why the US delegation to NETmundial.
Hey, Julian, I think we should. I think you should kill video.
There's a reason why this delegation has more than 25 people.
Hey, Julian, I think we should kill. Yeah, go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, better. Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah, you're good.
It's inferior quality interception by GPHQ again. All right. We should understand the geopolitical realities of what is happening. Deal. It's really against this one.
Here's an example of why the NSA surveillance programs are totally fucked. Are they fucking with us right now? Or is it just shitty proprietary software that fucks all of us? That's the question.
I can hear you. Well, remember that the first problem is access. As I was saying, although every time I mention a keyword, it seems we lose the connection. There's a reason why the US delegation to NETmundial has been so large. There's a reason why the Swedish delegation, headed up by Swedish Foreign Minister Carl Bildt, has been so large. There's a reason why the British delegation, informal as it is so large. And that is because there is a new international legislative playing field for control of the world, and that is the legislative playing field of the internet. Why is it important? The internet is a new land, and there's a land grab on at the moment for control of that new land. And actually, the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance has well penetrated it and thought that they were the only occupier, perhaps with some interference from time to time by China. But as our societies merging with the internet is merging with our societies. If we go back to some original definitions of state, control over communications and economic interaction is one of the two primary ingredients of the practical definition of what it means to have a state and to have sovereignty in a state. There has been a digital annexing of the digital space in which our modern societies operate. When there is no formal boundary between our societies and the internet, then occupying the internet is the same thing as occupying our societies. Economic transactions, which we think in some divorced, abstract realm, are in fact now being conducted over internet communications. The communications that we have between each other, between individual organizations that develop our economy, evolve our political and social structures, happen over the internet. So there is no difference between the internet and society, and what remaining small differences there are in the less developed countries are quickly fading. So control of this new land is in fact control over the basic interaction and economic structures of the world. How our economies interoperate, how people predict and plan their behavior, and how societies culturally and politically evolve. That is why the informal process that is happening here with ArenaNETmundial is so important. And it is also why immense resources have gone into, and in fact largely succeeded, in compromising the formal process. Because the United States, Sweden, the UK, and a couple of their allies have been advanced occupiers of this space, advanced colonialists in this space for so long, they recognize the threat of what Brazil is doing, and the broader Brazilian community are doing, in creating alternative environment for political debate, where the hosts of that environment are not the United States government or its allies. And you would have seen that in the end of Carl Bildt's speech, the Swedish Foreign Minister, where he spoke about how he's going to Estonia, and there's a forum there, and these other forums, and the IGF, as a way to devalue the process that is happening, the informal process especially, in ArenaNETmundial. Now,
hey, Julian?
Yes?
Unfortunately, I hate to be the bad cop here, but we're going to end up losing everything in a few minutes. Let me try and be the Roy thing. We have 1 minute summary. Key points you want. A call to action for the crowd.
All right, call to action. First of all, there's a formal conference of ArenaNETmundial. It has been almost entirely compromised by geopolitical pressure from the United States and its allies. We can see that in how the formal policy documents have been developed. Nonetheless, the informal proceedings, the gathering together of all the people involved, including this event we're happening right now, creates a new center of political ballast. We have to understand that we've got to grab that opportunity and continue to produce alternative centers of political ballast and vision. And number two, in relation to Marco Seville, it's all very well to have laws proposed and even passed. When something enters into law, it doesn't mean anything at all. The law has got to be enforced. It is enforced as a result of political pressure and ultimately power. Laws are enforced by power. That is why, for example, the banking laws in the United States are not enforced. In order to enforce the rights that we want, we need to structure ourselves so we have the power that we need to enforce those rights. Also, in relation to mass surveillance, don't be scared. It has been a goal for many, many years of various powers, from Hoover's FBI back in '71 to the Russian government in Chechnya, to terrify people from engaging in activities that would be perceived to be against those who hold that power. The reality is the National Security Agency is a deeply incompetent organization. That is why Edward Snowden was able to take that material out. That is why the largest intelligent manhunt the world has ever seen, which is the head of the National Security Agency and defeated them in getting Edward Snowden out of Hong Kong. And it's also why we were head-to-head with the Pentagon, the State Department, completely funded the single population center. So don't be overwhelmed by the paranoia. Understand, yes, there's a threat to the future of civilization, but we are ultimately dealing with slow-moving, very bureaucratic, deeply incompetent institutions that do not attract the best and the brightest. And if we can construct our own associations and organizations of courageous, intelligent people, then of course they will prosper and ultimately prevail.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Julian, so much. It's really great to have you. Woo!
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Brazil.